Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga Section. I'm here today to make a review for One Piece Manga Chapter 957. Now, not in the shape or form I thought we was going to get it in, but we have essentially found out information about Rocks, the Rocks Pirates. And so I thought it was going to be a thing where Big Mom and Kaido have this conversation where we find about the Rocks Pirates, but that's not the case. As you see within the chapter, we get this information through the Marines, Sengoku to be precise. And now, I don't know if it was revealed in SBS or a guidebook or whatever, just something else, official source of information, but before this, I saw videos on YouTube saying how, yeah, the Rocks Pirates, um, it was Kaido, Big Mom, Whitebeard, all under one flag. And I didn't watch the videos, I just saw the thumbnails of the videos and obviously the title as well. And I didn't want, when it comes to One Piece, I just want everything to be exposed to me within the series as it happens. But it was just this is the only one series that I don't want spoilers for. So, but I saw these things early on, I didn't believe them, so when finding out about them within this chapter, it wasn't news to me because, I had already dabbled in it a little bit, so it wasn't a surprising thing. And I don't think it would have been a surprising thing for me anyway. It just would have been, okay, this is pretty cool, and it still is cool. But that's essentially what we get. One thing that does bug me a little bit, and it's not really a problem, so to say, it's just really a timeline, and I want to know a timeline of how things played out, because we know for Big Mom, she left the island that she was on with her chef, and they started the Big Mom Pirates. So this means, she started the Big Mom Pirates, and into Rocks at some point, joined Rocks Pirates, and then after the Rocks disbanded, did the Big Mom Pirates thing again. So my kind of question is that what happened to the Big Mom Pirates that was with her when she joined Rocks? And also another thing is that why is her silhouette her thin version? Because as the when we see I remember in the anime, correct me if I'm wrong, but as an anime, when we see her go on her journey, okay, maybe you can see this feel like I don't think it happened in the manga, but the fact is, I always felt that Big Mom remained big. She was big as a child, so why would she be big as a child? And we see her a bit further along, grown up, but still big, go to thin, and then go back to big. See what I'm saying? Anyway, we also know that Whitebeard was part of a crew before he started the Whitebeard Pirates. So he was part of a crew, left this crew, joined Rox's crew, and then when Rox disbanded, did the Whitebeard Pirate thing. I guess there's not a problem with that. I'm just I'm just throwing out things that I remember here. But anyway, moving on. So we learn about the history of Rox and why they disbanded and such and such and such. For a split second, I don't know if I'm just grasping at straws here, but the Squad Valley that they fought, and why it is now wiped off the face of the map. Why is this place no longer, wiped on the map on the thing? And it just made me think for a second: is this God Valley Raftel? A place that's no longer on the map, hard to get to. If only there was another place that that's hard, not on the map and hard to get to, but there's only seems to be one way to find it. You need the red poneglyphs. Well, I could just be bugging here. I honestly don't know. So finding out Rocks is a D did not really surprise me. As I was reading the chapter, I was thinking, yeah, this Rocks guy seems a bit, hardcore, a bit hard, a bit crazy. So to find out it was a D, I was like, yeah, of course, this guy turns out to be a D. Gold Roger's enemy, and he turns out to be a D. Maybe it would have made more sense though if he was, Celestial Dragon related, because the whole D's are the enemies of the Celestial Dragons. But hey ho. So Rox is no longer alive, which is unfortunate because I really did want to see Rox active and to see what made him so great for his day, because he had three Yonkos under his belt at one point. So if that doesn't make you want to see him in his see him on the stage live, I don't know what would. And not only that, but he said to be other big name pirates that he had under his belt at some point. Now, Gold Lion, I'm guessing that means Shiki and other names as well. So that was impressive in itself. So after all of this rock stuff, after finding out about the rocks and them worrying about how Big Mom and Kaido are now going to be joining forces. They don't know their goal. They don't know their goal, but they just know that they're joining forces and they're kind of worried about it. We get into bounties. Now, firstly, I'm going to state again, as I always do, bounty does not equal power level. It is just how much of a threat you are to the world government, to the Marines, whatever. So the fact that Shanks doesn't have the highest bounty of the full current Yonko does not mean he is not the strongest. Just because Kaido's bounty is the top out of the four doesn't mean he is now the strongest. But it did kind of catch me off guard. But when I remembered, power bounty doesn't equal power level, it kind of did make sense to me because out of the four Yonko, Kaido does seem to be the most problematic child for right now. Blackbeard is still up and coming, he's still growing, so it may come to a point where Blackbeard has the highest bounty out of the four. I don't see that being a problem. But when it comes to the others, I don't see Shanks as a troublemaker for the government, and that's possibly why his bounty was higher than Big Mom and Blackbeard's, but lower than Kaido's. And I think that maybe what is keeping Shanks's bounty higher than Big Mom and Blackbeard is simply his strength and how diverse his crew is, because that is something that is mentioned. So those, because he's got so many people under his belt, because Shanks has got so many people under his belt, I think that is part of the probably part of the reason why his bounty is being kept higher than those two. Maybe, I don't know. It's just something I noticed. But then to wrap things up, we get told the bounties of Whitebeard and Goldie Roger, a bounty probably many fans have been wanting to know for ages. I know I have. So not Whitebeards. I don't care about Whitebeards, but Gold Rogers. Anyway, we found out that Whitebeard's bounty was 5 bill, 5 bill. We found out that Goldie Rogers' bounty was 5.5 bill. Oof, oof. What do you have to do to get a 5 bill bounty? Become the pirate king, obviously. But honestly, I want to know what made Whitebeard's bounty 5 bill when all the current Yonko are sitting in the 4 bill the 4 bill ball ballpark. I don't know what's going on there. The last thing I do want to say is I think there was a slight, okay, so what was said was that these two had the highest bounties in piracy. And now you need to realize Manga Stream, that's why I do my reading, not the official release. So I think there's a slight translation error there. So what I've read this is that out of all the pirates, these are the two top bounties that that's ever been given out to anybody. But we need to remember Dragon, who has been stated to be the most wanted man alive. So he should have the highest bounty. He is not a pirate, he's a revolutionary. So there's that. And I also wanted to find out his bounty within this chapter, and I thought they would have given it to us, but they didn't. Pricks. I mean, sorry, I apologize, you're not a prick. But you could have given this to us. You could have given it to us. So yeah, I honestly think that he has a higher bounty than Rogers. Not necessarily that much higher, 5.6, 6 bill tops. Do you understand? There was also that stuff actually that I remembered about Garp and how Garp is very secretive about this whole what's the incident called? Anyway, the stuff that happened on God Valley. And that how we find out through Sengoku, he says that his morals wouldn't allow him to to become an admiral because he would then be under the Celestial Dragon's thumb. And that's probably the D within him. The D, the D's are the natural enemies of the Celestial Dragon. So that whole thing there, that's probably the D with him. But it just makes you think, because we find out about this whole God Valley incident, part of the deal was, he had to protect some celestial dragons there. So I don't know what made him break there, and I don't obviously have no idea, but I'd love to hear yours if you do have anything to say on that topic. So yeah, let me know, comments, you understand. And that's everything I've got to say about this chapter. I want to give this chapter a 3-star rating and call it a review. Like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please go to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.